Greetings all. You know, I get a lot of questions about what plugins I use when I create my ambient guitar recordings. So I thought on today's video I would cover two of my favorite reverbs. So let's get right down to it. First of all, let me just play you an unaffected guitar tone here. All right, pretty simple tone. It's a Fender amp model with a little bit of compression. And what you see on the screen is Logic Pro 10, and I've got a couple of effects queued up to show you. First one I'd like to look at is the AudioDamage Eos reverb. It's, man, this is a really cool reverb. Of course, I'm going to say that about the other one too. It has two plate models and then a Super Hall model. Let me go ahead and run through a couple of the options here. You'll notice in addition to these three models, you also have an area here where you can adjust the pre-delay, the size of the room, the modeled room, and the decay of the reverb. And what's really nice is you can just kind of grab onto it with your mouse and move it back and forth, make it bigger, make the room bigger or smaller, that kind of thing. Pre-delay the same way. All right, let me go ahead and turn this on and see what we get. Let's create a pretty small room here and check it out. Here we go. All right, kind of cool, huh? Let me make that really long here and let's see what happens. This is on the plate 1. Ooh, nice. One of the things you hear probably is modulation. So let me introduce that. There are 4 different controls for modulating your reverb. There's the attack of the modulation when it starts, the diffusion of the modulation. So is it crystal clear or is it kind of smeary sounding? There's also the rate. That would be the speed of the modulation and the depth of the modulation. Let's kind of make this crazy here and see what we get. Okay, that's out of control, right? Actually, it may be something that you could use for a special effect. Here's a more, kind of standard modulation. Okay, and that's plate 1. So that's cool. Actually, I'm going to leave it on plate 1 for just a minute, and let's talk about the EQ section here. There are multipliers for the EQ, low cut, high cut. So let's just check this out. You can kind of see the EQ graph here, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, that's the current sound. All right, let me bring up the low cut, so we're going to drop out some of the low end here. You can hear we dropped out a lot of the low end. Let me pull it back in here, all the way. All right, let's make a dull sounding reverb. So let's bring it to 814 hertz. Pretty cool, huh? And then the multiplier actually affects the, if you look at kind of the graph here, you see the roll off at 2.22 kilohertz. Now check out the high multiplier when I adjust it. You see what it's doing? It's actually affecting the unaffected, if you will, portion of the frequency. So it's actually adjusting the overall volume of that very high level EQ that's still in the mix. So check this out. Can you hear how the tone subtly changes when you adjust the multiplier? So you've got a lot of options there. So that's plate 1. Plate 2 is very similar, so let's listen to the differences between the two models. So again, here is plate 1 with the current settings. Let me go ahead and make it a little brighter here, about 5.82. That sounds good. Okay, check out plate 2 for a difference. Okay, let me pull it back to plate 1. Back to plate 2. You can hear how plate 2 is a little mellower, a little less, sharp sounding than plate 1. And then finally, there's my personal favorite, and I'm sure everyone who owns this plugin, it's the Super Hall setting. Let's check that out. Here's plate 2 again. Okay, that's cool. Listen to Super Hall. Oh yeah. So this is where you really get that, over the top, full kind of reverb sound. Really nice. And look at the mix. I'm only at 5%. There is a lot to go. Love the Super Hall. Finally, on this particular reverb, let me pull this back down. I want to show you the infinite setting. So when infinite is on, it just keeps everything going forever. You can get like way out of hand with it, but it's pretty cool. What I'm going to do is bring the mix all the way up to 100% so there's no dry signal. Whoop, there we go. And I'm going to bring the actual volume of the channel down. And I'm going to turn infinite on, and then I'm just going to use my volume pedal here and play some single notes. And just listen to how they stack and make this pretty incredible drone thick reverb sound. Here we go. All right, that is just going to go and go and go. Let me bring it back up. And let me go ahead and adjust the modulation here. Okay, the mind really kind of boggles at some of the options here that you can use to create an ambient drone just with this reverb plugin. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so that's the AudioDamage Eos. Really cool reverb. Now I'd like to show you another reverb that I really love, and that is the Valhalla Shimmer reverb. And so this bears a few similarities to the Eos reverb in the sense that there's low cut and high cut. You kind of see these knobs here. And there's also modulation within the plugin. So you've got the rate and depth. But what's different is that there is a pitch shifter built in. And you can see here that as I move this knob back and forth, the number below refers to the number of semitones. So let me pull it up here to 0. Actually, let me just type in 0 here. Sorry about this. There we go, 0. That is the same pitch that you play. If I move it up to, for example, a 7 would be a perfect fifth, and a 12 would be an octave above. So let's go ahead and listen to, let me pull up an octave up and down, and let's go ahead and listen to it. Isn't that nice? So let's kind of talk about what's going on here. First we have a mix, so pull it down to 0, and it's just dry. And you can just pull it up to wherever you want. Again, I talked about the shift. Feedback is, again, that's kind of like the repeats in a delay, but it's the amount of the output signal that's actually fed back into the reverb. And there's actually a couple different options here, up, down. You can kind of change. You can change it to velocity sensitive mode, so you can add more feedback depending on how you pick. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Let me turn that back off. And then we have diffusion. Again, this is how I guess you would say sharp or smeared the overall sound is. And then size would be the size of the room. So you can make it pretty big. Or you can make it pretty small. Let me pull this up here a little bit. There we go. If you bring the size down and maybe the feedback down a little bit, you can kind of get a more organ sound. Actually, that's a little more steel drum sounding. Kind of cool, huh? Let me bring the size back up. And then again, low cut and high cut operate the same way. So if you want just a real kind of sharp reverb, right? Or if you want a dull reverb, you can do that too. Okay. And then let's just check out that mod. So here's the rate and the depth. So again, you can hear what's going on there. Stop it. Okay. So I'll bring that back down. And then there's a couple different modes that are really cool here. So for reverb mode, you've got mono big stereo, which is a wide stereo spread, medium and small stereo spread. Turn it on big. Pitch mode is kind of cool. You can turn it on single mode, which kind of, knocks out the pitch shifting, or you can turn it on dual, which is kind of what I have now, where you get an octave above, in this case, and an octave below. Or you can do reverse signals, so that's pretty cool, right? So we'll listen to that again and just see if you can hear that it's actually reverse, and then I'll switch it to dual forwards. And then here's dual forward. Kind of cool, huh? And I did misspeak. The single doesn't cut out the pitch shifting. It just makes it a single pitch above your note. Okay. And then, let's turn it back on dual here, I think. And then there's a color mode. So you can just have an overall darker sound or an overall brighter sound. I tend to like the darker sound better, just for the kind of mellow kind of aspect of it. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let me get this set up for a perfect fifth. So that would be 7 semitones above. Yeah, that's nice. And I'm going to turn the mix all the way up. I like that a lot. Let me set it back to an octave. Big stereo, we'll leave the dual. Let's set it to single mode, so just an octave above. Leave it at dark. And check this out. I'm going to bring the Eos in, and all craziness is going to ensue. All right. Okay. So that's cool. So if you notice, the Eos is set to 100%. I'm going to bring the volume down so it's not too overpoweringly loud. Actually, about maybe right here. Let's try this. All right, you guys with 500 pedals on your board. Yeah, I know. I've got a bunch of pedals too. I love my pedals, but man, I really love these two plugins. You can do a lot with them. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. I've got ambient guitar-related content coming every week. And if you're interested, you might want to check out Chords of Orion Music. See if you like it. And as always, see all of you on the next video.